Paper was like gold in medieval times.
Oh, not tobacco, sugar.
That everything we thought we knew about the world might turn out to be completely wrong.
November 2000, Volcanoes National Park, Hawaii. A park ranger gets an emergency call.
When the report came that there was a couple of dead bodies, these two people were just laying there.
In the vast volcanic desert, he encounters a grisly, inexplicable scene.
The female body, it looked like it had been burned and charred, but the clothes were absolutely fine. There's no signs of trauma whatsoever. It still is a mystery.
This is National Park, Secrets and Legends. Volcanoes National Park, home to two of the largest and most active volcanoes on the planet, is on Hawaii's Big Island. The park's stunning raw beauty is dominated by Kilauea, whose current eruption began in 1983, making it one of the longest-lasting eruptions in recorded history. Indigenous Hawaiians believe this violent landscape must be both revered and feared. For centuries, the volcano has been steeped in legends of dark, inexplicable forces. In 1997, Florida resident Timothy Murray visits Volcanoes National Park while vacationing in Hawaii.
I had always had really good fortune in life. I had had good monetary experiences, great jobs, good personal experiences.
Murray returns home, and soon after, his life gradually begins a downward spiral.
It was a wave of misfortune beyond anything that you could possibly comprehend, which eventually landed me in a federal penitentiary.
Open up, FBI.
The FBI arrest Murray for a white-collar crime they allege he committed. Murray's life is now at rock bottom.
I started having monetary losses. I was having personal problems with my girlfriend, just strange problems that we had never had before.
His nightmares offer him the only clue as to what might be causing his life to implode.
I was having some really strange dreams that kept me from sleeping. Polynesian warrior and, all of his warrior garb coming right at me, and right before he got to me, I would wake up out of the dream.
Murray has an alarming realization. Could these strange experiences be connected to his visit to Volcanoes National Park?
When I went through Volcano National Park, kind of started collecting trinkets of my journey. I wanted memories. I wanted, coral, and I wanted lava, and I wanted lava sand, and I wanted all these things. And I had a bottle, and I filled it up because, it was beautiful.
Murray's souvenirs from Volcanoes National Park become his favorite objects.
I took everything that I stole from the island, I arranged them into a big crystal bowl. So a lot of times at the end of the day, I was, sitting there and just spacing out and looking down into the crystal bowl with all these things that I had taken.
He remembers a conversation he had with a cab driver in Hawaii about what happens to those who remove natural objects from Volcanoes National Park.
I was explaining to him my adventures of going all over the island and collecting things, and he told me, he explained to me, Tim, the sand and the rocks and the shells, those are all part of the land here, that's part of the island, and you're not supposed to take that stuff with you.
At the time, Murray laughed it off, but now he wonders whether his collection has somehow cursed him.
And put all of the rock and sand and shells and boxed everything up. And then the next day I went down to the post office and sent it back. I know it may sound a little bizarre and it might have just been a placebo effect or whatever, but boy, from that night forward, things started to get a little bit better.
Murray's life quickly turns around. Could the rocks and sand that he took from the park actually be the cause of his ill fortune? Timothy Beckley is a researcher who has studied the phenomena at Volcanoes National Park.
According to the rangers there in the station, they get hundreds of letters and hundreds of pieces of minerals that are sent back. So it would seem that it's more than just a superstition. It's bizarre, it's strange, it's hard to believe, but yes, it certainly does seem to have some basis in reality.
Some believe Volcanoes National Park casts an even more sinister shadow than the curse on Tim Murray, that there are other, even deadlier forces lurking in the park. In November 2000, Park Ranger Travis Heggie is on patrol when he gets a call from headquarters.
They were hiking out close to the ocean entry, and they had been there when the report came that there was a couple of dead bodies. These two people were just laying there.
The corpses are in an accessible area, an easy walk across open terrain. Whatever killed them was sudden and unexpected.
The female body, it looked like it had been burned and charred. They had been dead for about 48 hours, but she looked like she'd been dead for a good couple of weeks. The skin was very, 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 very burnt. I don't know how else to describe it to you, but it was at a very burnt stage.
But there's a mystery. Despite one hiker's scorched skin, her clothes are in perfect condition.
The clothes were absolutely fine. They hadn't burnt through or anything, which if it had been an active lava flow, it would have burned the clothes.
Heggie can find no explanation for these strange deaths.
There was no signs of any tephra or large rocks hitting into the head. There's no signs of trauma whatsoever. It still is a mystery.
Some believe the answer to the mystery is centuries old, a malevolent power that lies hidden in Volcanoes National Park.
This is a sacrificial rock. Thousands of people were sacrificed on this rock.
Volcanoes National Park on Hawaii's Big Island is home to one of the largest and one of the most active volcanoes on the planet. Some believe this violent landscape may harbor hidden power that may have sent a tourist life into a downward spiral and mysteriously killed 2 hikers. Some seek a scientific explanation for their strange deaths, looking to the park's geology for clues.
We're right on top of what we call in geology a hot spot, basically meaning that lava or magma is coming straight up from down to the mantle of the earth, straight up in a line up onto the surface. The lava flows here in the park are flowing on the surface. They're a good 2,000 degrees. Celsius or Fahrenheit, doesn't matter. That's a very strong, burning lava flow.
For centuries, the immense power of the volcano instilled such terror in native Hawaiians that they turned to desperate, deadly rituals.
This is a sacrificial rock. Thousands of people were sacrificed on this rock.
Stuart Waterhouse is a local researcher who studies early Hawaiian religion.
You can just imagine the power that this rock holds, absorbing the energy from maybe as many as 40,000 sacrifices or much more. You see the depression from the sacrificial victim. Sacrificial rocks like this one could have had several hundred sacrifices, maybe even 1,000 sacrifices per year. Sometimes the sacrifices were so many that the fires as part of the service could be seen from outer islands.
This gruesome ritual was performed 500 years ago by the Hawaiian high priests, the kahunas. Native Hawaiians gathered by the thousands to see the gods appeased.
The audience was seated outside the Luakini walls, so they could hear what was going on inside. But they couldn't see everything, so it had a little bit of mystery to it. And of course, you could hear a pin drop. Everything was absolutely silent. Nobody could make any noise.
The corpse is then brought into the heart of the Luakini.
And at that point, then, one of the kahunas, he plucked the eyeball out and ate it. And the audience could probably see that And then at some point, that same kahuna would come out with his spear and do a mock attack on the audience. He would jab at the eyes. So it was very theatrical.
Tens of thousands of humans were killed in order to appease the gods of the mighty volcano. Could the two hikers be victims of a modern copycat killing, echoing the ancient human sacrifice? If so, what could explain how one hiker was badly burned, while her clothes showed no damage at all? Some believe the answer lies elsewhere and is connected to a unique and mysterious phenomenon. 2009, a tourist walks alone in the darkness of the park.
I walked out at night to see if I could see some owls. I heard that there was owls out there. Walked out about a mile into the cinder land and just sat there, soaking up the night. About 100 yards away, something, fireball, ran out. It was like if somebody was carrying a torch and was running off into the cinder. And the cinder is very, very sharp, so nobody in their right mind would be dashing off.
Welgo senses this glowing object has a purpose and possibly intelligence.
I heard a voice that said, "What's that?" I feel like maybe we both saw each other at the same time, me and this thing. I don't really know what it was, but I know that it was alive, it was there, it was real, it was existing, and had full consciousness.
Welgo's story is one of hundreds of reports of strange lights in Volcanoes National Park.
These are said to be the size of anywhere from softballs to basketballs. They're seen coming out of the crater, but not during eruptions. And usually they shoot across the sky and then back in the other direction. They've been seen by tourists. They've been seen by the park rangers who work there at the station. They're mystical. They're not lava. They're not, smoke plumes or anything like that. They seem to have an intelligence of their own.
Could the fireballs somehow explain the deaths of the two hikers? Though Welgos felt no fear, some believe these lights may be a force of ancient evil.
Fireballs represent the manifestation of a curse. And once the fireball is sent to you with its intention, you're as good as dead.
Hawaii's Volcanoes National Park is a place of intense natural energy, with two active volcanoes that could erupt at any moment. Some believe there are other forces at work in the park that defy rational explanation. Mysterious fireballs have been sighted for decades. While many encounters are harmless, some believe the fireballs may have a darker intent.
Ana is the sorcery. And that was actually outlawed by the mainstream Hawaiian religion. Those kahunas that practice ana would be put to death. It was an underground type practice that did this. It wasn't widely accepted. It was illegal.
Ana sometimes includes curses in the form of fireballs, similar to the ones seen by hundreds of observers for decades.
One way of creating the spirit to go and do the kahuna's bidding would be to strike the wooden god, and it was a sorcery god, and by hurting the god, you force the god to do your bidding and to send his spirit to go bite the throat of your enemy. Once this ceremony took place and the spirit was sent on its way, it had to have its victim. The person that was being prayed to death would die.
Did a fireball put a curse on two hikers, leading to their mysterious deaths? Many Native Hawaiians believe these types of curses are possible.
Even though the missionaries forbid the practice of these things, it doesn't mean that they were wiped out completely. Unfortunately, the one that we're known for the most is the dark art of putting curses on people, and that still exists today.
Although the fireballs are reported to be a strong force, it's believed there is another that may be far stronger. A mysterious figure who sometimes appears in human form.
The first report that actually got any press attention goes back to 1924. It talked about someone, a local, picking up a hitchhiker
Days later, the volcano Kilauea erupts, raising a pillar of dust 30,000 feet into the air. A boulder weighing 8 tons is found half a mile away. Some believe that the 1924 explosion is linked to the hitchhiker, who is believed to appear before every eruption. She's called Pele, the goddess of the volcano.
Madam Pele plays an importance to the Hawaiian people simply because she is the creator of the islands, and she is the one who gave life. She stoked the fires to create the volcanoes. And many times when that volcano is erupting, the old Hawaiians say that you can actually see her dancing.
Many native Hawaiians claim to have had face-to-face encounters with Pele. In 2005, Lopaka Kapanui leaves home to run an errand.
I was heading out to a local drive-thru, and when I got to my car, I noticed on the other side was a Hawaiian girl. She said she wanted to be taken to a bakery on the north end of the island. And so I said, well, listen, I'm heading down to the street here to a drive-thru. I can take you and drop you off if you want. And when I sort of glanced to the backseat of my car, I noticed that there was a leftover plate of food. I reached into the car, grabbed it, and when I stood back up to offer it to her, she vanished. She was completely gone. The thing about that is where the car was parked, it's a wide open area, and there was no way that she could have walked in either direction without me seeing her leave. A second later, a car whizzes right past me, and I sort of glanced this way, and there's a head-on accident. The car had come from the side street and just hit it. And at that point, I realized that that was supposed to be me in that car, in that accident. In my family, I've been told for many years that Pele is actually our guardian. That's who this girl was. And maybe that's why she appeared for just that short amount of time to buy me time.
Some believe Pele is not only a guardian, keeping people from harm, but also the volcano's protector against anyone who disturbs nature's balance.
This is great that we have all these tourists, maybe 2,000 tourists on a busy day coming down to see the lava flows, but they're also going over these old lands where the Hawaiian people lived. I don't think Pele wants this. I honestly believe that Pele is at the point where she's not really being revered in the way she would like to be revered.
Could Pele's power explain why Tim Murray's life went into a downward spiral? By taking sand and lava from the park, did he anger the goddess of the volcano?
The only way to kind of describe it is almost a paranormal feel. You would be doing something, just going about your day, and your hair would start to stand up on your arms, and you'd start seeing things. You know, your heart would start beating really fast, and it was a very strange experience.
Hawaii's Volcanoes National Park is a vast volcanic desert and home to 2 of the most dangerous volcanoes on Earth. Many believe the park's famous Mount Kilauea is protected by an ancient goddess, Pele, who unleashes her anger when humans disrupt the area's natural balance.
The way that the Hawaiians and the Polynesians, they look at Madam Pele as the guardian of the land, as the mother of the earth.
In 1997, vacationer Tim Murray's life went into a downward spiral after he removed lava and sand from the park. His luck only turned around when he sent the objects back, along with a written apology to Pele.
The earth is her children, and when you take her children away from her, she will use what is at her disposal to go get her children back and have her children returned back to the land.
I believe that Madam Pele thinks and knows that if you're respectful, then there shouldn't be any trouble or any problem at all. She's not a bad person. Really, all it's about is respect and asking permission.
With a vengeful goddess, mysterious fireballs, and black magic all at work, what is it about Volcanoes National Park that attracts these strange forces? Some believe it's because of the park's location and the location of Hawaii itself.
Hawaii exists on an international grid or ley line that intersects the main island as well as the Great Pyramid and Stonehenge.
Ley lines are invisible connections between natural landmarks and man-made monuments all over the world. Beckley believes the park is one of those mystical places, and the ley lines are the secret behind the forces at work there.
There's also some speculation that Hawaii is like a giant pyramid itself. It starts at the bottom of the ocean, of course, and then it goes to the top of the volcano. And so there's something there that attracts all that energy. It's a portal or a gateway or a vortex to somewhere else.
Volcanoes National Park may be one of the world's most violent landscapes, but it's also one of its most mysterious, with unseen energies radiating from its volcanic core. Unique natural forces give this place a special power, one that will always demand respect.
The energy of Hawaii seems to attract the fireballs, the Madame Pele manifestation, other weird paranormal phenomena that can't be explained. It seems to be one of the locations where there is a very high percentage of these manifestations taking place.
The islands are a very spiritual place, and specifically Volcano National Park. And I would just ask anybody who does go out there to try to understand where they're going.
I would tell you that I personally feel that whatever veil we have here between this world and the next world seems to be extra thin here in Volcanoes National Park.